Hi there, and welcome to this very special episode of Fantasy for the Ages, show where father and son sit down and talk about fantasy books. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim. And I'm curious why this is a very special episode.
Oh,
Is it
because
just
we've
that
been
all of our
blessed.
episodes are special?
Well, it is usually, but we've been blessed by a third party. Not a physical body, but I guess an antibody.
Oh, nice one. Zach's got some prep in the game. So, yes, we do have another life form in a way involved here,
Well,
too. That's debatable.
technically, a virus doesn't meet the qualifications of full life, but it's fine. It's fine.
You're right. You're
Point is,
right.
I have COVID.
Zach got
Yay.
the Rona. Yeah. If you watched our last episode, that was live at JordanCon. Actually, it's getting good hits on YouTube. So lots of people are
Nice.
watching that episode. Some people finding it particularly helpful for when they think about maybe joining JordanCon next year. So
Good.
that's a win. But we were both perfectly healthy then.
Oh,
I'm still
absolutely.
perfectly healthy now. Poor Zach picked up a hitchhiker.
I was all good until about 24, 36 hours after I got home, and then it was downhill since then.
Now, we'd
But
like to say, you probably caught it on a plane or traveling, but unfortunately, we know a few other people who also got it at JordanCon. Anytime people gather, when there's bugs, you catch it. The cold, the flu, COVID, it can
it's
happen. It's not,
absolutely a risk.
yeah,
I'm very glad to say that as far as COVID goes, this has been minor. Um, but
good.
I'm doing my best to stay hydrated and make it through. If I'm coughing throughout this episode, though, that's why.
Yeah, we got to give Zach a little slack today. If he hacks up a lung, feel free to mute if it gets really
I
bad at some
will
point,
try.
Zach. Okay.
How are you doing, Dad?
I'm doing great. I don't have COVID. And I did get back to the Northwest and realized pollen is bad. The pollen is crazy right now. So both your mother and I have felt the usual pollenness. Mine hasn't been bad enough to take Claritin, but your mother did. That tree pollen. Whew, it's hefty. But it is what it is. It's every season, every spring. Let's see. But yeah, things are good. Just finished 4 days of a professional conference that I was running. Um, so today was really good to not have anything to do other than work on a podcast and get together with you, son.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So we normally next talk about what we're drinking. I heard you say water. And is that what you're sticking with?
No, you heard me say hydrating, um,
Oh,
because currently it is a nondescript sports drink.
with electrolytes.
Yeah, I have been drinking lots of water, but sometimes you need a little more than just water as well.
I hear you, man. Sometimes you need something a little more than water. So I have a lot of frozen water in
Yeah,
this.
and then a little bit more of a lot of alcohol.
Yep. I just went with the Long Island. I didn't feel complicated today. Honestly, I was doing a lot of work online throughout the early parts of the day, and then I just didn't want to think hard to make up a wattail. So I just made a nice Long Island. And it is nice. That's always a tried and true. But I've been busy with a couple of other things besides just prepping for today's episode.
Okay.
Um, One of those is redecorating. So if you see behind me, there's an addition to the wall now. Yeah, there it
that
is.
that way.
That's our, we got our badges at JordanCon and this thing about putting all these ribbons on it. So mine is proudly displayed now from JordanCon 2022. I thought it
Mine's
fit in.
over there somewhere. I haven't fully unpacked, partially because I'm gonna have to repack.
That's right, because you're coming out to visit.
I
We're going to
am.
see you again next week. Technically, this coming weekend. So, definitely looking forward to that. Let's see what else. There was something. Oh yes, I wanted to talk about the fact that our Try Reader tournament for May is underway. Got started
Woohoo!
this morning. So if you're watching this when it comes out live at the end of the week, it's probably close to finishing up. It's not done, but might be really close because I am pushing this baby out this year because I've got a vacation coming up where my wife and I are going to be on a cruise ship for 2 weeks. Well, no, that's not true. For 9 days, but then there's a couple buffer days on either side. Anyways, hard to run a Twitter tournament from the middle of the ocean.
That's
So,
fair. And
yeah.
as anyone knows, you shouldn't put that trust in my hands.
Yeah, I handle the technical side of that. And wow, the topic we've got going this time has generated such great conversations on Twitter because we're focused on the 3 most overrated science fiction or fantasy books or series. Whew, I think we're going to have to do an episode talking about a bunch of
There's some
these,
hot
and it could
takes.
be fun. There are some serious hot takes. I love it when, okay, one of them that's actually running now in a preliminary round as we speak has all Sanderson novels, all Tolkien novels, and the Kingkiller Chronicle. And literally, the internet's burning. It's fun. I believe that one's winning at the moment, too.
I mean, it has points.
It does. And all of these have points. Keeping in mind, none of this is meaning the books that are getting voted as overrated are bad. That's not what it's about. It's just often when you have something that is quite good, the fan base can really go overboard and just absolutely love on it and then recommend it to everybody when it's probably not for everybody. That's how things end up getting overrated. And Sanderson would fit the bill there. Sanderson's not for everybody. It's for me. I enjoy Sanderson. You enjoy Sanderson. I think so. Have you read any more of The Way of Kings today?
I finished The Way of Kings.
Oh, you haven't
finished
posted
that first day of sickness
on our book channel yet.
I've been bad about posting in the middle of COVID fevers, and I think that gives me a little excuse.
Well, we'll see what our followers think. They may agree.
Probably not. They're probably not going to cut me any slack, and that's fair too.
But go ahead and put it on there maybe later today and give it your star rating. You can just tell us though. Out of 5 stars, what do you get Way of Kings?
Probably got like a 4 for me.
Okay.
It's going to be really hard for me to give a 5, and I don't like giving decimals of stars because then I'm going to think way too hard on it.
No waffling. Yeah. I'd agree with you, actually. I think Way of Kings would be a 4 out of 5 for me. I think the series gets better as you go. Although, there are people that argue it peaks at book 3, Oathbringer, and that Rhythm of War is a step down.
Yeah, but those same people are probably going to eat their words when inevitably book 5 comes out, and book 4 was really just all build up for book 5, even though 4 had the least build up stuff, which I don't actually know because I haven't actually read it yet, but I know.
It's entirely possible. So we'll find out. I got to tell you, though, as people were submitting their entries the last 2 days for the Tri-Reader tournament, and things like Rhythm of War were tossed out there, or the Stormlight Archive, or some of them, there's other people who are responding to things like, "How dare you, sir?" All with kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek comments. But the fandom on our Twitter have been awesome. They've been very respectful. They've been enjoying the fact everyone has different subjective tastes and have enjoyed being able to have faux terror at some of the things people have put out there. It's been good. Some people actually even submitted the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, no, I see that.
We're going to cover Wheel of Time anyways today. But before we do that, there is one more thing to address.
What's that?
We're recording this on May 1st. Now, we had a opportunity running the last 6 weeks for people to give us a new rating and star review on Apple Podcast. And for everyone who gave us a 4 or 5 star rating and submitted a review, we'd put them into a drawing for one of our frosty mugs. And we were going to try to give 2 away. Well, that period's done. It is May 1st. It would be time to draw names. And we only got 1 review.
Well, that makes drawing a name much easier. Do you have
we don't have
ready?
To draw.
Oh, I thought you were going to draw the one thing in there. It'd be very comedic.
I was tempted to send 2 frosty mugs to this one, though. It's a beautiful review. Oh
It
my
is.
goodness.
And
It
trust me,
encapsulates
I didn't
everything.
pay them for it, at least
No,
not intentionally
I
ahead
don't
of
even know
time.
who they are. So
No clue.
we do have to say Magicina, not sure how they pronounce it, but contact us on our Discord or Twitter or something directly. DM us so we know where to send you the frosty mug for this beautiful review. So I'm going to read the review because it was good. All right. It's given the subject line, not just another Wheel of Time podcast. And it reads like this. I know. There are a lot of Wheel of Time recap podcasts out there. So why listen to this one? It's because this is a father-son duo, and you can tell these two respect and love each other. Aww. He doesn't say aw, that's just us. Also, though both have read the series already, they do a good job of focusing on a spoiler-light presentation. Great for a first-time reader who's looking for clues about what to pay attention to but doesn't want future events ruined. The Wheel of Time is famous for being amazing on a reread, to revel in Robert Jordan's epic foreshadowing, but using this podcast should bring forward some of the joy of a reread to one's first read. Like, yes, that's what we're going for. Okay. Also, Jim and Zach touch on non-Wheel of Time fantasy and sci-fi in entertaining ways. Overall, a thoroughly enjoyable podcast for any self-respecting nerd. Highly recommend. Cool.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for
That is a next level review. We really appreciate that. So again, let us know where we can send your frosty mug, and it is on the way. But beyond that, now we should get on to giving out some content that keeps us worthy of reviews like that.
Let's go back to the Wheel of Time, shall we?
Yes. We're covering 3 more chapters from The Shadow Rising today. First up is chapter 27, Within the Ways. And we get to return to a different plot line now, going back to Perrin and company, traveling the ways. Yep, as they're heading for the 2 rivers. But perhaps we shouldn't say Perrin and company, as it seems to be more like 2 companies. You want to remind us of the situation, Zach?
Well, there was a whole Perrin going, Faile, you can't come. But then Faile was like, well, but you can't come because Loial said he's taking me. And then Perrin was like, but I'm going anyway. And she was like, well, you have to ask. And he said no. So they're separate, but together, but separate, but together.
What a stinky business. Are you team Perrin or team Faile in this?
I'm team just talk out your issues.
I'm team Loial. Poor guy stuck in the middle of all this.
Or I will say, as a reader, I'm a Bane and Chiad coming along because I think it's entertaining and I want to see it happen. But as a person, I'm team Gaul coming along anyways, regardless of the fact that he knows this is happening.
He also is enjoying the entertainment, though. I swear he's got popcorn stuck in his pack. Well, anyways, we're in Perrin's POV for this chapter, and actually all 3 of these chapters. So we get to be entertained here at the beginning of 27 by his insistence that the other party is Loial's party, not Faile's. No giving in. Nuh-uh. We also learn that Perrin is intentionally keeping him and Gaul back away from the other group because we pick up midway through the ways. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they can see their torch and then all this darkness and then their torchlight. And, they never quite let those 2 pools of light touch. Just keeping that perfect distance. And this was reinforced because of the incident that first happened when they came into the ways, which is where we'd left off in the Perrin story. So we get a tiny flashback here because Perrin and Loial got to the first island of the Waygate and then waited for Faile and Loial. Perrin and Gaul waited for Faile and Loial and Bane and Chiad to catch up. And when they did, Faile storms right up to Perrin and slaps him one. And he's like, what the? I mean, he was on the verge of, sorry for going in so fast and making you worry. But he doesn't even have a chance to get the whole phrase out. And then she, wham, does another one. And he's like, stop that. don't do that. So she punches him now. And then she goes to punch again. Okay, and it doesn't say precisely what happens next.
No, but it's pretty clear.
We get plenty of other around the way explanation of the effects. Basically, Perrin picked her up and spanked her rear end thoroughly because she didn't stop. Okay. Now, end result, Faile is furious at Loial for trying to intervene. Okay, he should have stayed out of it for some reason. Faile feels, but also furious at Bane and Shiad for not intervening. Now, why didn't they intervene? I wanted to ask that because the book doesn't say, but I get it. I mean,
I think the book kind of does say at one point.
It kind of says,
because
but it doesn't.
It says basically that Bane and Chiad say she chose the battle.
And we thought you wouldn't want us to
exactly. It was like if it was a
interfere with your right for this.
Yeah, because she challenged him basically by going up and throwing the first punch.
But
so
it doesn't really explain why they would have that perspective.
No, but it feels very Aiel. It makes sense rather than something else.
That's what we're supposed to be getting, that sense of Fardarais Mai, and they're kind of lumping her in as of that same ilk. That's kind of high respect that they're having for her. But she's just mad at them. But she's not angry at Perrin. You know, he can smell emotions and sense these things, and he's not getting a whiff of anger from her. Instead, he's just getting sadness and hurt feelings. And so, of course, he feels terrible. He keeps justifying himself. I mean, she had it coming. She wouldn't stop. I told her to stop.
It coming.
But he feels terrible now. Now we get the impression, ever since that time, they've been playing a bit of a game as they journey through the ways. Loial's group staying in front and continuing on in a manner that allows Perrin to follow without getting lost in the ways, but not officially paying them any attention at all. So, like when they will stop for the night or something, or stop for a break, when Loial's group, the torch starts moving, if Perrin's torch doesn't start moving right away, there's the front one stops. Meaning they're clearly waiting for him, but they're not, encouraging him or anything. It's a game. The ways, they're as creepy as ever. We've mentioned the darkness, also the ground all pitted and deteriorating, but at least they haven't heard Makin Shin yet.
The black wind.
Yeah, remind us of why that black wind is an issue, Zach. It's been a while since we've talked about it.
Yeah, it kind of rips through and talks about gnawing and tearing the flesh and horrible nastiness, and doesn't seem to really care if it's Trollocs or people that it runs into, but if it runs into you, you're not running out.
Yeah. You don't come through Makin Shin feeling all rosy and happy. If you come through it all, you are changed forever.
It is not just a gentle breeze.
No. So they haven't heard anything of that. They want it to stay that way. Shortly into this chapter, they arrive at the path to the Waygate at Manetherin. Faile plays a petty game at that moment, where she calls Perrin forward, and he doesn't respond at first. And then she calls again, more insistently. So, all right, they're actually calling us. So they come forward, and then she's like, almost looks at him casually, like, oh, well, look at that. He does know how to obey when called. And Loial is like, really? Come on. Because the real reason for calling him forward was, we're at the Waygate. Okay, this is where we're coming, and we needed you up here now. And Faile, she's just smugly satisfied with how her taunting game is going. What do you think of Faile's behavior in all of this, Zach? Is she justified to be treating Perrin this way?
Faile and Perrin, how they treat each other throughout this, Their reasons have different things here and there, but just the way it kind of comes across is often very childish.
Yeah. You said their reasons. Now, Faile's reasons are Perrin was trying to leave without her and even trying to work around her secretly, and that's not right. You're not leaving me behind. So she's giving him back what she thinks he deserves and kind of trying to teach him a lesson. But Perrin's reasons are different. Remind us of what Perrin's reasons for trying to ditch Faile are.
Perrin's big reasons come in twofold. One, trying to keep her safe and keep her away from whatever this is. But two, more importantly, his whole plan here is coming into Emond's Field and turning himself over to White Cloaks to die. And he's like, I don't want Faile there for that.
No. A, she'll probably try to stop it. And B, she may try to fight for him and then be hurt with him. It's the last thing he wants to see happen. So he has worked really hard to drive her off. So that's his justification for acting like a dirtbag and treating her really badly. Hasn't worked. Now these games, the pettiness that they're having between them, come to an abrupt end now because Trollocs! A horde of Trollocs just suddenly descends on them out of nowhere with total initiative. Except they're fleeing out of the dark. The Trollocs didn't have any fire. Fleeing's the wrong word. They're flying out of the dark, whereas our people had torches. When you come out of darkness into sudden light, it messes with your vision. So the Trollocs have a little bit of a disadvantage, whereas our group, they can see just fine. So there is a furious battle that happens, these 6 against all the Trollocs that showed up, but the end result is the Trollocs are down. They're a little nicked and bruised. Not Faile. She managed not to get any dings at all. Perrin took some lumps.
He gets a nasty little, poke through a thigh.
Yeah, but all the Trollocs are down. Okay. And then a Fade jumps out from the darkness. It's like, oh, here comes the next thing. We got a Myrddraal. And their hands are full. Gaul's the one at it first, but it gets pin-cushioned by Bane and Chiad's arrows, and Faile throws a dagger, and finally Perrin distracts it from Gaul and brings his hammer right smack down in its head. And Fade's gone. Nice. We get a side note here. Perrin had kind of a visceral reaction to the Fade, thinking of it as a Neverborn, and feeling this massive desire to rip its throat out with his teeth. So when that's over, he's, shaking those feelings off, going, man, I got to keep a hold of myself. What was that about?
Yeah, that was the Wolfie boy coming out.
Yeah, we're being reminded of that inner wolf within him again. And they don't like the Shadow at all. Shadowborn. No, they go for them. Whew. Okay, so the Fade's down. And now they hear more Trollocs. They really aren't thinking they should battle more Trollocs right now. They're a little dinged from the first batch, but then Perrin hears something else. And within moments, everybody else starts to hear it too. A wind. Not good. Mak and Shin has finally taken note of the party. So what follows is a mad rush to the way gate. To get this thing open, we need to get out of the ways now. This is bad, bad, bad news. And they do. Loial pulls off the trefoil leaf. The doors open. They get out. They've got their weapons ready. They're keeping the Trollocs from following, and they're getting the doors closed again when Mak and Shin arrives. And they hear all those icky blood, juicy blood, eat the blood, all that kind of stuff again in their heads. And they hear Trollocs dying because they're totally, swept up in this black wind and they can't get out. And then the doors close. And then Loial does something new. He locks the waygate. Do you remember how he locked it?
Basically, to unlock it, to open it, there's a trefoil leaf, take it off, put it in one place, other place, whole mess of things, right? There's one on each side, inside and outside. That way, you can open it from either side.
Coming or going.
He took it from one side and moved it to the other. So he basically took the doorknob off of the inside.
Exactly. That is a great way to mention it. He took the doorknob off. So both leaves are placed on the outside now. Now, he could have destroyed the gate, closing it permanently. And he mentions this. What's the technique to do that?
If I remember correctly, you take the doorknobs, you take them off, and then you just like take them, leave them off for a while. They will die.
Yep. If he didn't put the leaves back on, the door eventually it's no longer a waygate. But he doesn't do that. Now, to me, I'm like, okay, there's bad stuff coming out of this waygate. We don't want this waygate. Remember, this is they've concluded this is how the Trollocs got into the two rivers back at Winter Night. That started this whole thing. And now there's more shadow spawn here. This is not a good waygate. Now, Loial and Perrin and Faile just used it for good purposes, but Loial's saying, I'm not going to destroy this thing. I'm going to leave these on it from this side. And it's not just for convenience. I mean, why doesn't Loial want to kill a waygate?
I mean, it's a valuable, important part of history and culture. More to that point, his people are about preserving and making, not destroying.
Right. They grew these things. They're organic, and we know how they feel about living things and trees and such. You know, it was way back when Mael Aes Sedai who developed the ways, but they gave the Ogier the ability to create the way gates, add on to this thing. And for many years, that's exactly what they did. So they grew these way gates. They don't want to kill them. Yeah. So, yeah. That's going to stay there then. Nice and locked. Shouldn't be a problem. Right?
I can't say anything here. I can't.
This is that hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod moment from the spoiler light fantasy for the ages. Be aware we could have destroyed this gate, and we did not.
Anyway, where are they now?
Well, looking around, Perrin sees they were up high in the mountains of mist, areas that loomed off in the distance where he grew up, and that he and Rand and Matt would spend time kind of down in the foothills, playing and hunting and doing things in years gone by. They'd never been up exactly where he is now. And honestly, he just sees this waygate and then a whole bunch of bare mountainside. I mean, there's some brush, some small trees and such. But anywhere that the rock is clear, it's just almost shiny smooth. The only reason he actually knows where he is from a story Moraine told him, that this is Manetheren. This was the capital city of the land of Manetheren. Why are there no signs of this great city of the 10 nations of time gone by?
Well, because the same reason that there's no real remembrance of Manetheren either, because long, long ago, the final stand of Manetheren ended with, Ildren blowing it up.
Going nuclear with the power. Yeah. Everything was scoured clear. But that is where we are.
It does say something about the
amount of power.
I was going to say the strength of a waygate.
Oh yeah, that it did resist it. They're nigh indestructible, unless apparently you take off 2 leaves.
If you let it die, it breaks in its usefulness. Maybe it just doesn't break.
Symbolism for the true power of the way of the leaf.
Sure.
All right, now Perrin's thoughts now turn from the Trollocs they've dealt with to what he's actually concerned about. The reason he's come to the Two Rivers, White Cloaks. That's why he's here. And as he's looking down the mountain, down towards the valley below, and thinking about White Cloaks, a quick little thing happens. Perrin sees a hawk get shot by an arrow somewhere down below. And then he sees a second hawk that had been flying with the first hawk dive down towards where the other one fell, only to turn and flee up into the air as a whole clutch of ravens come up together out of the trees and attack the second hawk. And when they disperse, there's no second hawk. It's gone. 3 things are noted at this. 1, Two Rivers people, they don't come this far to hunt in the mountains. So who the heck shot an arrow up here? 2, ravens are known as eyes of the Dark One. Now, not every time you see one can you be sure, oh, that's working for the Dark One.
But Perrin has also seen a swarm of ravens in the past go down on a fox and just rip it to shreds. So,
and literally
like before.
Chase him and his companions with the expectation the same thing was going to happen to them. So yeah, this is flashback, man. This is not comfortable. And the third thing, only Perrin could make all that out. It's so far out there. The most anyone else was like Faile were those birds down there? She could just barely see something way in the distance. That's reminding us about Perrin's eyesight. Again, yeah.
Everyone else needs glasses. He's just the only character who can actually see.
He's got that wolf vision again. Wolf vision? Yeah, we'll call it wolf of it. No, wolfy vision. How about that?
I don't think I like it, but I'll let you use it.
All right, Perrin's ready to get moving, but Faile makes him stop, disrobe. Okay, let's finish that.
Yeah, I don't know why you stopped. It was like there was nothing wrong with the statement until you stopped.
Well, only if you like people around to be, watching, I guess. But no, there's a reason for this. He's all dinged up from the battle. He's got numerous cuts and wounds. You mentioned the spear in the thigh. He's got a spot she sees as she takes his shirt off where a knife or axe or something sliced right along a rib. If it had been between the ribs, he'd probably be dead. It just got lucky. It hit the bone. And she's going to patch him up. So we get this odd little dynamic where Faile is gently addressing the wounds, even stitching one up, cleaning everything, while going off all on Perrin, about how stupid he is and stop being such a lummox and be more careful. Don't be expecting me to patch you up every time you do this. What's going on, Zach?
She's not happy.
Why is she not happy?
In truth, it's not that she's actively upset at him or any of these things, but this is her way of channeling and expressing. She's not happy that he's hurt.
Right. That scares her when she sees how close he just came to actually dying.
Yeah, she's not actually mad at him per se.
No.
But that's the easiest way for her to express what
she does not handle her emotions well.
I think she handles them very well for what's socially acceptable where she's from, probably. Unfortunately,
now you're getting all deep and meta. All right.
No sense to Perrin.
No, he doesn't get her at all. Now, as this finishes up, Perrin actually tries to use his wolf superpowers, and he reaches out mentally to the wolves in the area to see what he might learn, especially about potential shadow spawn. As we already cited, the wolves hate the shadow spawn. So if there's any shadow spawn in the general area, if some had already got out through the Waygate, for example, the wolves will know.
And he learns one very, very important thing. There are no wolves.
Right. How are there no wolves in the Mountains of Mist? This is wolf territory. Little concerning to worry about here. He's like, okay, if the wolves are gone, what got rid of the wolves? The wolves are alpha predators, okay? No one gets rid of wolves. But someone's gotten rid of the wolves, or did they just choose to move along? For whatever reason, the wolves are gone. It doesn't feel good to Perrin. But he's got no information, so they'll focus on that maybe tomorrow. Maybe he'll find more wolves then.
Or at the very least, the next chapter.
Yeah, and that is the end of the chapter, so let's go to next chapter, 28. to the Tower of Genji. Or, is that how you say it? Genji?
I say Genji, but
that's why I was giving you the or.
I'm sure I'm wrong in this one. I just do.
This chapter starts with our party deciding to camp here, where they was once Manetherin, as it's too late in the day to safely proceed down the mountain when there could be shadow spawn about. Again, if Perrin had been able to connect with the wolves and they knew what was going on, then maybe they would have gone down, but with no intelligence, they're going to stay put. Now, Loial wants the group to stay together. He's like, okay, he literally says to Faile, we're through the ways. This nonsense is over now. Let's all, band together. And she's like, no, I don't know. He's his other thing. We're doing our camp. He can do his. And Loial has been really frustrated with Faile. So, okay, fine. So he starts to head over to hang out with Perrin and Gall. And Perrin, with her not seeing it, makes kind of a hand gesture to Loial, wanting him to stay with Faile and Bain and Chiad. Why?
I don't know why.
He's being protective.
What?
He's also apparently disrespecting the ability of the women to take care of themselves, but yeah, he wants Loial to be there in case something happens to them. Setting up separate camps, that means just Perrin and Gall have more guy time to hang out and chat. And we learn some things from Gall in the actual conversation they have here. 1, he's impressed by the fighting abilities of Perrin, Rand, even Matt. And he attributes this to them all being here, growing up, the descendants of Manetherin, the old blood of Manetherin.
Well, at least he didn't blame Ta'Veren.
Thank goodness. Matt would be happy. The Aiel know the story of ancient Manetherin. We get here then, too. Perrin had tried to dismiss that this has anything to do with having grown up here because we're just a bunch of farmers in the Two Rivers. And he's like, yeah, I've seen how you three fight. But hey, if you say so... You think, that's all you guys got. All right. Okay.
Look,
this is actually foreshadowing right here.
Totally different than it does in the Waste. It's fine.
We overtalked each other, so I do not know what you started to say.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Yeah, but in post, I edit these and separate them. Is it worth separating?
Nope.
No, I don't know. Oh. All right. That is a tease, by the way. I only separate them in the audio podcast. So if they're listening to us live, they just see us totally stumble over each other. Or if they're watching the YouTube later, nope, we just stumble.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't stumble that much when we talk over each other. I just keep talking.
I know, and that sometimes is a problem. You should stop. Okay, anyways. Gall has a great quote here. If you plan for the worst, all surprises are pleasant. Words to live by?
Words to survive by.
I certainly, when I work with businesses and their budgeting processes, I certainly do tell them, budget for worst case scenario and hope things come out better. And if they come out better, that's gravy then. You're all set.
And if they come out worse, you didn't plan for bad enough.
That's right. If you budget optimistically, though, and things come out bad, you're screwed. So let's not go there. So Gall would work in my financial planning. Gall and the Aiel as a whole have never commented or acted concerned over Perrin's yellow eyes. So in this conversation, Perrin brings it up. Why not? Everybody else looks at me like, dark friend. Yeah. And you guys don't seem to be bothered at all. And Gall explains, hey, the whole world is crumbling down around us. We got this he who comes with the dawn that's going to change everything. And personally, I'm dealing with wise women who've told me I'm the next one up. When my clan chief is gone, they're going to send me to Ruidian, whether I want to or not. I got enough to worry about. A dude with yellow eyes? You don't even hit the worry meter. I kind
It
of
would really
paraphrased Robert Jordan's prose there.
no, but it would really stink for Gaul if Perrin actually was a dark friend and then stabbed him in his back that night. Because it'd be like, I don't even worry about you. Now I'm dead. It's
I'm
a good
kind of
thing.
glad you didn't write the Wheel of Time.
Well, I'm glad George R.R. Martin did not write the Wheel of Time, because that's what would have happened.
Oh, okay. With Gaul then taking first watch at the end of their conversation, Perrin's going to turn in, but not just to get some sleep. He's heading into the wolf dream very intentionally. He wants to figure out, where's the wolves? What's going on? And maybe what else can I learn about this space and scenario? He very quickly is able to find himself in the wolf dream, and he's right at the same location by the way gate, except in the dream it's daylight. It's not nighttime. But there's still no wolves. For a brief moment, Perrin almost turns into a wolf. He thinks about wolves and then flickers into one. And like, no, fights that off. Wants to be a man. Needs to be a man. A note of flickering is made about his hammer, because he looks down and he's got his hammer in the armor's wrong thing. The belt loop.
It's loops.
Where usually his axe would be hanging. Instead, his hammer's there. And when he thinks about, the hammer, instead of my axe, and then it flickers into an axe, and he's like, no, I like the hammer. It flickers back to a hammer. And he thinks to himself, I hope it stays a hammer now. He definitely prefers the hammer. It's reminding us that in the wolf dream, things are transitory a little bit. It's not just like reality. But I wanted to follow up with you. Why does he prefer the hammer? Can you remind us of what his inner monologue has told us before?
I'm trying to remember how much his inner monologue actually has told us this before, and how much is just, I think it's already told us this.
Well, what it has told us is a very Aiel perspective. And why he likes
it's very
the hammer.
simply going back to say, even to the Tuatha and the Way of the Leaf, when he was there, the axe, it hurts people, it kills people. That's what it's for. Sure, it does other things too, but he uses it as a weapon. The hammer.
Well, hold on. When you say he does other things too, not his axe.
No.
He's got a battle axe. You don't chop a tree down with a battle axe.
You could.
You don't.
I'm not saying
you
it's
could
a good
butter
idea.
bread with a sword too, and you don't.
Yeah, I'm not recommending it. Clearly, anyone looking at my physique knows that I do not regularly chop serious amounts of wood.
I'm so excited at JordanCon. People got to meet us in person. So they saw, how skinny you are, how close in height we are. And so we were both the ones where they're saying, oh, you guys are taller than we realized. But yeah, and they know you don't work out much. Yeah, they know that now.
I mean, that's harsh.
But, you're definitely a healthier slimness than your old man here. And they know that too now.
Just because I don't work out doesn't mean I can't dance the spears. It's fine.
Oh, yes. Blade Master of JordanCon.
Point is...
the point. Spear point.
Point is, the hammer doesn't have one.
Exactly. A hammer can be used to bludgeon someone, but it's also a very productive tool. It's a well-rounded object, and that's why he'd rather have it. The flickering of the weapon reminds Perrin of the oddities of the wolf dream. And just like that, he gets another experience of an oddity, where basically a big old TV screen appears in front of him, as he's looking towards the mountainside. He's got a big old panel that opens up, and he's viewing through this view screen Rand. And Rand is laughing wildly in the midst of a storm. And there's a sense Perrin pulls through this image of hidden eyes watching Rand, eyes that Rand does not perceive. Then that image winks out, and like right next to it, there's another one that opens up. This one has Nynaeve and Elaine cautiously hunting through a twisted landscape, hunting some dangerous beast. He doesn't know how he can tell that. He just senses it through the image. And that one winks out, and boom, another one opens up. This time it's Matt, standing at a fork of the road. and he's flipping a coin to decide which way to go. And once he heads down the path he decided, he suddenly has a wide-brimmed hat on. Perrin's never seen this hat on him. And he's holding a staff that has a short sword blade. Either of those two things familiar to us so far, Zach?
We've seen the second.
We have.
The
Does that mean we're
Ashendara.
going to see the first?
Maybe.
Maybe. And then the image switches once more to Egwene and a woman with long white hair staring right at Perrin in surprise. Like they can see him. Like it's a two-way viewing screen. And he sees behind the women the White Tower of Tar Valon crumbling. And then that one winks out. So all that reminds him of being told that the wolf dream is like Teleron Riyadh. So things he can see may be prophetic. They also might be things that are currently happening. He can't be sure exactly what these particular images meant. And he gets no help from the wolves because wolves don't see this stuff.
There's
Only
a
Perrin
weird
does.
mix of verbiage and language used here that makes for some very confusing things. And I have to go unreliable narrator, because the way I understand some things doesn't always fit with how things are worded here. The most specific one being the wolf dream is like Teleron Riyadh. And that hurts.
Yeah, well, we're going to get some more things to tie into that as we continue in these chapters. But I want to also remind people, anytime we see these kinds of images, dreams, visions, Robert Jordan is always very intentional with his writing. So every last one of those meant something. You might kind of think you know what they mean. You might totally have nailed what it means. And if you're on a reread, you know what those mean for the most part. But again, a first-time reader, try to remember each of those visions. They all are significant in some way. I like the one where Egwene and the woman are staring right back at him. Remember that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. So Perrin would like to understand these sorts of things better, and wolves aren't any help, but there was one guy he'd met that might have been able to help him. Good old Elias Makera or Machira. He's the one who introduced Perrin to wolves in the first place, another man who could talk with the wolves. But Perrin has not seen him in quite some time. Who knows where that guy is? And right now, he's all alone. Perrin's got nobody with him. So he does try to do something about that. He's going to try to call his buddy Hopper. Remind us what the deal is with Hopper. Why might he be able to call
dead.
Hopper? Oh, so he's a ghost wolf?
Kind of, except for the fact that, they just are here because they exist both in the real world and in this world at the same time. So if they're not in the real world at all, they're just in here.
Until they're spun back out into some little wolf pup, and then they're in both places again, right? So calling out for Hopper, he gets nothing. No response. So maybe it's something about this place he's at. So he figures, well, maybe I should move. Maybe I can get to another spot and try and have better results. So he takes a step down towards the valley down below. He's looking down there at the far end of the valley. I'm going to head down there and try again. But as he takes that step, the world just goes whizzing past him like a blur. And with one step, he's down at the tail end of the valley. He's like, whoa, what the heck just happened?
Well, that's useful.
And he's reminded that Hopper has previously said, "You know nothing, Perrin Ibarra." The point that Perrin was fairly ignorant of how things could work in the wolf dream. So he's like, maybe this is one of those things. I mean, maybe it's something special about just where I am right now. I don't know. Maybe I should experiment with this. So he does. And he takes another step and boom, the world whizzes by again. He looks at a mountaintop and one step, boom, he's up at the top of the mountain. He starts just jumping mountains and mountains, but he's not jumping. He's just taking a step each time, and he's ending up where he meant to be. It's invigorating. Perrin is having a blast. Just flying through the world. He leaves the two rivers behind. He's out in, just the world beyond and going along and having a great time. And then on top of a mountain, he sees another person. The other person is not on top of the mountain. Perrin's on top of the mountain, but partway down the mountain, he sees a man. Now, this guy doesn't see him. Perrin has come up unawares on this person. The man is tall, dark-haired, appearing to be like out hunting or something. Again, the man doesn't see Perrin. Perrin gets to just really kind of observe, unnoticed, and something's familiar about the man, the way he looks. Not like Perrin's seen him before, but the way the guy looks reminds him of something, and he can't quite put his finger on it. But then a breeze blows the man's scent to him, and he's like, oh, well, wait a second. There's something wrong with that. Because what he smells doesn't smell like a man. This guy might look like a man, but he smells cold. Inhumanly cold.
Well, that's not right.
Wrong. Something's wrong. Now, he sees the man stooped over something on the ground, but he can't see what's on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And before he can do anything else, the man somehow senses he's there, turns, sees him, and then, boom, takes off in a blur. He can move like Perrin can.
Trick too.
Wow. So Perrin zips down to where the guy was. He wants to see, what was it? What does he find?
A wolf
Remember?
pelt.
A wolf pelt. Not just a pelt.
No, but it's
a skinned wolf.
Basically.
Yeah. He interrupted this guy, apparently, in skinning the wolf. The dude killed a wolf. He killed a wolf in the wolf dream. Now, we don't know why that's so significant.
No.
We know why in another page or two, but let's just tell him why now. What's the big deal about killing wolf?
Perrin knows this is upsetting, but he doesn't really get it yet. He soon will find out. You kill a wolf in the wolf dream, they gone forever.
Yeah. If they die in the real world, they're still here in the wolf dream. Because they're always here. Sometimes they're also in the real world, but they're always here. You kill them here, they're always nowhere.
It turns out if you wanted to eliminate wolves forever, just kill them all in the wolf dream and you've made them actually extinct.
That is what would happen. Yes. So Perrin, he knows you killed a wolf. Killing wolves are bad. You don't kill wolves. A lot of people would disagree with Perrin, but Perrin has a different perspective on wolves. So he's chasing that guy now. And they race away, again, across vast distances, blurring along. The guy is always out there ahead of Perrin. Perrin cannot catch up to him because they're both just super speed. They've left, the two rivers way behind them now. And finally, they make it to a point where there's this big metal column, a metal tower out in the middle of nowhere. And the man apparently went inside. Perrin followed him here, and the guy's gone now, and there's no other signs of him going anywhere else. But there's no way inside the column. It appears to have no doors, no windows, no entrances of any kind. So as he's sitting here pondering, how do I follow him in here? Two key things happen. Number one, Hopper appears.
Hi, Hopper.
Finally. Yeah, hi, Hopper. And tells him, stop. Don't even think about going in there. And Hopper shares, the man you're chasing, he's Slayer. And he's evil. And this tower, everyone knows this tower's evil.
Well, not everyone. Perrin doesn't.
He says everyone. And his point is, you're an imbecile.
Yeah.
But you don't know this is evil. Because you should. Everyone knows. That's the point he's making. And then even worse, you don't chase evil into evil. Stupido.
Yeah.
Slayer, he also shares, is in the wolf dream in the flesh. What does he mean by that?
that he is physically there. He's not dreaming himself there. He is there.
He doesn't explain that, but he's just saying this is something that was done long ago, and wolves can barely remember it, but they know this is evil. You don't do this. And that makes this guy very, very dangerous. And this is where Hopper also reveals if wolves die here, they die forever. There is no rebirth. And Slayer has been killing the wolves. That's why there's no wolves in the Two Rivers now. That's why he couldn't find Hopper there.
Or they ran away because they're like, we're not messing with this anymore.
Correct. And Slayer says, I believe this is true for you too. If Slayer was to kill you, you'd be gone forever. This is dangerous. Stay away. The other thing that happens then at this moment that is extremely momentous is a woman appears and talks to Perrin. A woman with golden hair and a thick braid down nearly to her waist, wearing oddly cut clothes of white and yellow. She seems vaguely familiar to Perrin. He asks, are you and Aes Sedai? Which just gets a laugh. Now, they're going to have a conversation here, but smart readers should already recognize who this is.
Am I supposed to fill in a blank here, or
you could choose to, or you could leave our listeners just hanging while you cough and lose everything you've been trying to keep in your lungs. Oh, you poor guy. COVID sucks. Just say it. COVID sucks. He'll be right back. Oh, that poor guy. So I'll let the cat out of the bag. Perrin has met her. This is one of the heroes of the Horn, and he remembers seeing her way back in Faile, but he's not putting the connection together right now. And she's here to specifically warn him. You shouldn't go into that. That thing, that's called the Tower of Genji, or Genji. I really got to make up my mind which way I want to say that. Now, I'm breaking the rules just by appearing and telling you this, but I've kind of broken the rules already, so what's one more rule? That's kind of where she's going at. Now, broken the rules, well, we know that she has appeared elsewhere. She's been seen kind of poking around in Teleron Riyadh. So now she's decided to appear to Perrin. And I'm not going to name her. I just told them, Zach, I'm not going to name this person. I've told them why they should remember her.
Okay.
But we're going to just leave it off there. Because Perrin asks her specifically, what's your name? Who are you? And she doesn't say it. So I won't either. We'll be catty like that. But she does tell him, Tower of Genji, bad, stay away. Now, when Perrin shares that Hopper agrees with the danger of this column of metal, she looks surprised that he can talk to the wolves. Something lost in legend, and then comments, but that explains why you're here, actually, then. And she shares the tower is a doorway to the realms of the Aelfin and Eelfin. And she seems to think he would recognize those names, but gets blank stare. It means nothing to Perrin. So when he doesn't get it, she references the game Snakes and Foxes. Heard of that? And he's like, oh yeah, of course. Every kid plays that back in the Two Rivers. That's that game you cannot win. And it has these special rules that go with it. You even say the chant when you start the game. Courage to strengthen, fire to blind, music to daze, iron to bind. And she corrects him. You can't win the game unless you break the rules. Okay, that's foreshadowing, people. Just put it out there.
Sounds like both a very fun game and a very dumb game. Like, is it a game that I would enjoy? Absolutely.
But to win, you have to cheat.
That sounds like a terrible game for, like, if I tried to give a preschool class this game, they wouldn't understand the rules well enough, quickly enough to cheat intentionally. They just would. So they'd win, but I feel like it wouldn't be intentional, you know?
Gotcha. Well, she tells Perrin, avoid the Tower of Genji. And these Aelfin and Eelfin, they are not to be trusted. She says they aren't evil, like the shadow is evil, but they are so different from us as to practically be evil in the impact they can have on you. Now, we should recognize the Aelfin and Eelfin. Where have we seen them? I mean, come on, snakes and foxes. Come on.
They're the people beyond the red stone twisted doors.
That Matt Cawthon has had so much fun with.
Yeah.
Yes. This woman then tells Perrin he should also avoid this whole general place, the world of dreams. That's what she says. The world of dreams. So this is where the connection comes back in. The wolf dream, the world of dreams. The world of dreams is also called
Teleron Riyadh.
Yes, this is the same place. It doesn't seem to click for Perrin yet here, but it should. He's got all the information delivered by this woman right here. But she says, this is not a safe place, including that being named Slayer. That's very appropriate. And she says, he's not old, but his evil is an ancient evil. And, tuck that nugget away for later. That's another one you're definitely going to want to hang on to. It's going to mean something. But there's no way a first-time reader would understand that statement yet. So we'll just say, try to remember it was said here. He is not old, but his evil is ancient. Perrin once again presses for her name. He's sure he's met her before. And then he sees a shadow of a man with two sword hilts rising over his back. And when Perrin turns towards this new figure, a little miffed actually that someone else has snuck up on him that he didn't see, there's no one there. So there's a shadow for someone that's now there. Yet the woman notes that, he is right. Basically referencing the person that cast a shadow, but that Perrin can't see. What is he right about? That she shouldn't be speaking to him. And then she's gone. Poof. Let's make this that much more fun. Perrin turns back to Hopper, asking what he made of that woman. Hopper's like, there was a she? Where? He didn't see her at all.
So that's fun.
Yeah. So, I want to ask you about the shadow. Is that anyone we may have heard of, seen, a reader should maybe perhaps be able to recognize?
If we're not going to tell them who she is, I don't think we can talk about that shadow either.
Have they met the person making the shadow?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, they've met both of them.
They have. So if they think back enough, they might be able to connect the dots. Moving beyond this, Perrin brings up the two rivers to Hopper and the lack of wolves, and he point blank asks him now, what's up with that? And Hopper's like, you need to stay away from your old home. Again, Slayer walks there. He's killed all the wolves. It's not safe. And of course, Perrin needs to return. It's like, well, thanks for the warning. I'm going back anyways. And Hopper wishes him safety and gives him a very wolfy parting comment. I wrote the quote down because I enjoyed it. May you know good hunting, young bull, and she's to give you many cubs. I guess that's how you roll when you're a wolf. Perrin then simply wakes up. He doesn't go back, in the wolf dream. He's back. And he tells Gaul, well, my turn. I'll take over now. But, I did learn things may be worse in the two rivers than we thought. And Gaul's line, stoic, perfect. Things often are. And he just goes to sleep.
Gaul was already preparing for the worst.
You gotta love Gaul. Great guy. How you say it? Good guy Gaul?
Yes, good guy Gaul.
At the end of the chapter, then here, Perrin reflects on Slayer and the Shadow Spawn, both being here in the Two Rivers. Coincidence?
I think not.
Not likely, yeah. Our final chapter is 29, Homecoming. Brace
Spider-Man
yourself,
Homecoming?
people. What?
It's Spider-Man Homecoming? That's chapter 29?
No, that came many years later.
Oh.
This is Perrin's Homecoming, but this chapter, man, this hurts.
Is there a dance?
No.
Sorry, I'm
No
trying
one's
to bring a lot of
catching
levity
COVID.
here, but I know it won't be.
Okay. The journey down the mountainside. Perrin had done it just like that in the dream. But for these guys, it takes 3 days in the real world, working their way down to Emmons Field. It's a time of awkwardness as Faile seems to want to smooth over this rift between them, but at the same time seems to be fighting against her own upraising, her stubborn nature. So like she comes towards him a number of times, but then doesn't open the conversation and then falls back. And it's awkward. Loial seems to feel that, and he's getting more and more uncomfortable with this whole thing. It's like, come on. Whereas Gall, remember that I said he had the popcorn in his pack? Yeah, now he's got it out. This is a great show. He's just enjoying watching this stuff. It's silliness. Perrin, for his part, is glad Faile never gets up the nerve to actually do anything because he's got his own thoughts to deal with. These 3 long days are full of worry for Perrin. He's got Slayer. He's got Shadow Spawn. He's got White Cloaks, who knows where, somewhere out here. And he's thinking about his family. Now, his family, we learn here in these thoughts, is about a half-day travel beyond Emmons Field from the direction they're coming. And we learned that the Ibarra clan live all together out in like a homestead, a farmstead, a commune. I don't know how to say that word, but you've got all these Ibarras. So it's what? It's a mom. Think about it. There's a mom. There's a dad. There's 2 sisters.
I don't think it's that crazy for a farm family. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's mentioned as pretty common.
Multiple aunts and uncles all together.
You know what that sounds like to me?
About a commune? Come
on, Midwest. It just sounds like the Midwest.
I didn't say it was polygamy or anything. It's just a commune, maybe. You know,
I think commune just general, like the word does not actually have negative connotation, truthfully, but in common vernacular, to me, feels like it's connected to weird things.
Well, they are out there all on their own, half a day out of town. I don't know. I don't want to judge.
What point were we getting to?
The point is, everybody knows the Ibarras. So if the White Cloaks are looking for them, they're going to have found them. Perrin, he hasn't spent a lot of time with his family the last few years, ever since he apprenticed to the Luhans in town to be blacksmith. It's like they're too far out there for just a casual visit. So he'd see them on feast days, special occasions, but that was it. But they're a close-knit family all in one place, and he's worried that trouble would have found them now because the Ibarra name. He had to tell the White Cloaks, I'm Perrin Ibarra. So that's his stress. So as they get closer down out of the mountains, close to Emmons Field, he chooses not to go straight to Emmons Field. He veers off to the north and hits the Quarry Road. Now, we heard the Quarry Road way back at the beginning of the Eye of the World. Perrin actually doesn't know why it's called the Quarry Road. He knows what a quarry is, but there's no quarry. There's no rock quarry out along the Quarry Road. Perhaps there was back in the days of Netherin. But he's going to check on the Al Thor farm and see if Tam is there and find what he can find. And when they get there, it's burned to the ground.
Well, that's
not great. There. Yeah, no bodies, no people, alive or dead. Everything's gone. And the damage that was done here is clearly old now. This wasn't just happened. Gall says as he looks around, he finds sign of 2 men who came here after the fire, who seem to have driven the flock of sheep off to the north into the woods. He can tell that, but he doesn't know who those people were or anything else. And he cannot tell what caused the fire, who did the damage here. That's impossible to know.
It'd be really cool if he could, but yeah, no.
Yeah, Perrin's like, dang it, Rand, you should have come. They knew your name. See? Someone came and took out your farm. Who knows? Maybe they got your dad. But he also knows this Trollocs possibly loose. We saw them at the Waygate.
Awesome.
Maybe it was just a random Trolloc attack. But what if it was the White Cloaks? We don't know. So this didn't help. This did not help his worry. But it's late in the day. Faile comes to him concerned and actually looks relieved when she hears from him this wasn't his farm. This wasn't his family.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's just curt with her about it and not appreciative at all of her sensitivity. He just has sharp words again. Again, he's trying to not show he appreciates her in any way. He's trying to drive her off.
He's trying to make it hurt now so it hurts less when eventually he does stupid things.
Right. Coming to the Althor farm was actually his last gasp attempt to try to communicate with somebody that he's back and find out what's happened before he goes into town. Because he expects when he gets to town, there'll be White Cloaks. And he's going to turn himself in. This master plan he had. So this is his last chance attempt to drive her off, and it doesn't work. So now he has a new attempt, and he tells everyone, okay, we're going to camp here tonight before going into town in a fresh day. And then he tells Gaul, psst, we're sneaking away before the sun comes up.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to camp here.
Gaul, we're not going to camp here. Gaul's like, Perrin, you will not succeed in driving her off. She's practically Farderized mine now. And when they get their hooks into someone, when they love you, you can't escape no matter how hard you try. She's got you. And that was where Perrin's response was, yeah, we're sneaking away. In other words, we're not going to be able to make her go, so we're going to ditch her. So sure enough, about an hour before first light, Gaul and Perrin sneak away. Not super successfully because either Bane or Chiad, it's too dark to know which one it was, but one of them's clearly on guard, on watch for their camp, and they see them. They don't wake anybody, they just let it go. But they are noticed. Perrin and Gaul do go down the quarry road all the way to town, though. And they arrive in the early morning. The town really isn't up and about yet. And they make it all the way to the center of town, to the Wine Spring Inn, unnoticed. And Perrin, he ties up his horse in the back of the Wine Spring Inn. And he and Gaul, they walk in through the back entrance. Again, don't see anybody. They continue on through to the common room, and there he kind of peeks through the door, and he sees just Master and Mistress Alvir quietly prepping for another day. And so then he makes his presence known, and they're quite surprised. Yeah. They were both sitting, and they stand up with shock. The chairs fall over, and Perrin, what are you doing here? And they have some conversation. They inquire about Egwene. That's one of the things they ask. Is Egwene with you? And Perrin comes to learn they do know that she's at the White Tower training to be an Aes Sedai. Because apparently she sent many letters. Only 3 of them have made it, but because of things referenced in those 3, they believe she sent other letters that haven't made it to them. They also know from those letters that Nynaeve is also training to be an Aes Sedai. And from those letters, they know about Egwene's friends, Min and Elaine, and they ask, are they good girls? I mean, is she hanging with nice people? Perrin gets from that, okay, so Egwene shared some things, but maybe not everything.
Hasn't said, hey, my friend Elaine's the daughter heir of Andor.
Yeah, it's a good one. So it's like, all right, so what else don't they know? You know, Egwene probably kept things close to the vest, it sounds like. He does say, oh, yeah, I've met them. Yeah, you'd describe them as good girls. And then Perrin introduces Gaul, recognizing I have an Aiel standing with me in their common room, and maybe I should try to smooth things out there. And then he sees Gaul interact with the Alvirs because they right away welcome him to the home. They try to make him feel comfortable here at the Wine Spring Inn, and he goes right into an Aiel ritual. Apparently something that you do when you arrive at someone's home and are welcomed as a guest. And he pulls out a gift. Where it was, who knows, but somewhere out of his stuff, he pulls out
in all that nothing. He had
yeah,
something very shiny tucked away.
a solid gold salt cellar. And Perrin is slightly impressed at how smoothly Marin Elvire reacts. Oh, this gift. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And he says, I stand ready to defend your home. She's like, oh, well, that's nice. I'll let you know if we need any defending. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Perrin's going, that little thing you handed over has to be worth more than at least half of Emmons Field.
I don't know. You might be able to buy all of Emmons Field with that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't blink an eye. Just like acting like, oh yeah, we see Aiel every other day. It's just natural. She clearly is driven by trying to make her guest feel comfortable.
I'll tell you what, if the White Cloaks have been bad for the Wine Spring Inn's business, this just fixed it.
Now they turn back to Perrin. Why are you here? Why did you return to the Two Rivers? And he says, well, I heard about the White Cloaks. And like, exactly. Why did you come here? You can't change anything. You just need to get away now before they catch you. And Perrin states his plan. He knows the White Cloaks are here for him. So he's come to give himself up so he can stop some of the damage before it happens and keep his family. And he doesn't get to continue the saying because as he says that, the front door bangs open and Faile walks in like a boss. Seriously? That's your stinking stupid plan? And she goes off on him. You're really going to just surrender yourself to the White Cloaks? And it's like, bing, 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 bing. She's got the whole thing figured out now. She knows exactly what he was doing. You've been trying to get rid of me because you knew if I knew about this, I wouldn't let you do it because it's an idiotic plan. And
you know what? You're right. Because it is an idiotic plan, so I wouldn't let you do it.
Yeah. Faile demands to know why in the world would you want to surrender, knowing that they will just kill you. And he admits, well, I killed White Cloaks. Now, she knows he killed some White Cloaks. But she's saying, I killed some before that, too. And therefore, they think I'm a dark friend. Faile's like, yeah, the sun would be a dark friend more easily than you being a dark friend. There's no way you could be a dark friend. And Perrin, he says, it doesn't matter. They think I'm a dark friend. And nothing's going to change their mind. The only thing I can do to try to ease things, solve things, settle this is turn myself in. And she just goes off on a verbal tirade at him. Again, emphasizing what an idiot and Harry Lummox he is. And she tries to drive home the point that he hasn't figured out. This isn't the only thing he could do. He's thinking it's the only thing. It's the only way. No! You have more options. Now, this finally is brought to a stop when Mistress Elvire smoothly breaks it up by saying, Perrin, would you introduce me to this young woman who thinks so highly of you?
And Faile is so embarrassed.
Oh my goodness. Red. And we learned something about Faile here. Because she shifts into a completely different mode with elaborate curtsies and apologies. And she clearly knows how to handle herself at a more elevated level. Perrin's not seen this sign of Faile. Bane and Chiad, they also then step up and pull out more elaborately ridiculous and valuable gifts and do the same kind of ritual that Gaul had done. So at this point, Bran and Marin Elvire retire for life. They no longer need to run it in. They are good. We're set. Okay, that's not what happens, but that is
No,
what
but
should
it
happen at this
could've.
point, man. But instead, Marin, man, she's amazing. She transforms this situation by interacting with both Faile and Bane and Shiad with complimenting, her dress, her travel dress, and how beautiful it is, and how well it sets off her complexion. And you Aiel, she doesn't say anything about their clothes because it's Aiel clothes, but your hair, it's gorgeous. Now, a point about that, they don't say it in the book, but they have different hair than you see in the Two Rivers. What color is their hair?
It might be reddish.
It might be. Yep. The gingers are strong in the Aiel, and that's what she's oohing and eyeing over. And anyways, gets them then wrangled at the table and brings out some damp towels so they can clean themselves from the travels, and serves tea. So before these ladies know what's done, they've been settled in a hospitable way, and now they can act more civilized. And this would have been fine with Perrin, except she drags Perrin and Gaul into it too. So they're also at the table and cleaning up and ready to drink some tea. And then Perrin gets a different surprise because Bran Alvear steps up and places a silver cup of apple brandy. And the silver cup is half full of brandy.
Yeah, it's not a little treat. It's not the, you're almost an adult and it's a festival, so here we give you a little taste. It's like, no, here's a drink, son.
This is a man's drink. And part of Perrin's like, well, that's nice, finally, to be recognized as an adult. But there's more to it. This is where the chapter gets hard. Bran notes, Perrin, my boy, no one believes you're a dark friend. But Perrin says, it doesn't matter. I still have to do what must be done. The White Cloaks, you guys have to understand, they are not pleasant people. Meryn says, we know. And Bran follows up, Perrin, your family is gone. Perrin thinks instantly, I'm too late. The farm was destroyed like Rand's farm. Where have they gone? Who's taken them in? And he's like, no. They're all dead. The Trollocs got your farm and killed everyone. And in fact, the Trollocs, they remain on the prowl outside of town. And the White Cloaks, they're the only thing that's protecting us from being attacked right here. We kind of need them. Perrin then, he's like, he just heard his whole family's dead, but there's no real reaction. He goes on to the next piece. Okay, what about the Althor farm? I mean, do Trollocs do that too? And no, those were the White Cloaks. And the Cawthon farm, so Matt's family. The White Cloaks got them too. Now, those families are okay for now. And Abel Cawthon and Tam Althor, they're out hiding in the Westwood somewhere. Now, Perrin, you need to leave. Before the White Cloaks discover you're here, we've got the Congers, the Coplins, Sen Buey, they're sucking up to the White Cloaks. If they find out you're here, they're going to run over and tell them. That's not going to be good. And again, Perrin, he's sitting here. He's just trying to process all of this.
Now, you say there was no reaction, and that's mostly true. But it is notable. Perrin doesn't get to drink any of his brandy.
No.
Because what little reaction he does have is noticing, I've crushed my cup. I'm so sorry. Dude, you crushed a metal goblet.
Silver goblet, yes.
I understand it's not the strongest of metals, but still.
And they bring him another one. You need the brandy. Now, again, Perrin's processing. He's not emotionally reacting with his words. He just learned in the things that were said that Days Conger is now wisdom. White Cloaks are protecting Emond's Field. And the White Cloaks are led by Lord Bornhold. He's like, Jeffrey Bornhold out here? Well, I guess that makes sense. He's the one that tried to catch me before. Now, that's not correct. What do we know that he doesn't know?
That's because we know Jeffrey Bornhold's dead and it's his son Dane.
Who was poisoned in his understanding by Child Byar and believes to the core that Perrin is to blame for Jeffrey being dead.
Meanwhile, Perrin doesn't know that Daddy Bornhold's even dead.
Nope. And as Perrin's wheels are turning, he sees Faile just looking at him, and her eyes seem to be like watering up, like she's about to cry. And he's like, "What's wrong with her?" He can't even process that even.
No, he's in
shock. And then Gaul speaks to Bran. What else? Saying, "I can see there's something more that you know that you haven't told us yet." And Merrin's like, "No, they stop. They don't. That's enough." And he's like, "No, he has a right to know." And so, here's the rest. Bran says, "Okay, Padden Faine, the peddler, he's with the White Cloaks, but he's calling himself Ordeath now." Perrin's like, "Oh, Faine, man, he's a dark friend. I heard it from his own mouth.
He brought the Trollocs to Evansfield on Winter's Night. That whole mess, that's his fault."
Bran's like, "Oh, no, that is interesting. That explains some things." He shares Faine is the one who ordered the Althor farm burned to the ground. And Tam got away, actually took out 4 or 5 White Cloaks, that little archery skill, as he fled into the woods. And he made it to the Cawthon farm in time to get Abel out of there before the White Cloaks descended. But they took the rest of the Cawthon family captive. They're in the custody of the White Cloaks. They haven't been harmed, but they're still prisoners in the White Cloak camp, as well as Master Luhan and Mistress Luhan. Faine seems to have a hate for Perrin, for Rand, and for Mat. But Lord Bornhold, he seems to have a special hate just for Perrin. And it's demonstrated by he's offered 100 gold pieces for anyone related to either of these boys, Mat, Perrin, Rand, but 200 for Tam and Abel. The Aiel question, well, why are you still tolerating those White Cloaks? I mean, can't you protect yourself? Just saying you need them for the Trollocs. Rise up, stand up for yourselves. And Bran says, no, we're simple farm folk. We can't handle Trollocs. We need the White Cloaks. We figure if we just hang on long enough, though, things will settle down. The Trollocs will go away. The White Cloaks will move on. I mean, that's just what we have to do. Keep our heads down. Stay out of trouble.
The 2 rivers, they're stubborn. They outlast things. They weather the storms.
He mentions Lord Luke has encouraged them to band together and hunt the Trollocs, and let's wipe them out of the 2 rivers. But that would mean the men leaving on hunts for Trollocs, which would leave the families, the wives and kids undefended. So no one wants to do that. And Perrin's like, wait.
Who Lord the Luke? Heck is Lord Luke?
I haven't heard of. We don't have a Lord Luke.
There's no such thing as a Lord of the 2 rivers.
Okay, so apparently a hunter of the Horn who believes somewhere up in the mountains of Mist he'll find the Horn. That's this Lord Luke, and he showed up about the same time the White Cloaks did. But he has given up his search for the Horn because they need him. And he's very much recognized and valued as a gentleman, a finest manners. He conducts himself so well. They're all very impressed with Lord Luke. At this point, Perrin says, well, a hunter for the Horn? Faile's a hunter for the Horn. Faile, do you know this Lord Luke? And she's like, okay, enough already. And she walks over to him. She literally takes his head. He's sitting, she's standing, and just pulls it against her and says quietly, your mother is dead. Your father is dead. Your sisters are dead, and your brother. Your family is dead, and you cannot change it. Certainly not by dying yourself. Let yourself grieve. Don't hold it inside where it can fester. And though Perrin's first thought is to move her away, he finds he can't. He just starts crying. And he dissolves into sobbing, racking sobs that he can't stop. And she's just like, I know. She doesn't say, it's all right. Because it's not. It's screwed up. She just says, I know. I know. And dang it, I'm writing the notes and I was tearing up. This is nasty. This is hard. This is horrible. Man.
It's great.
What a moment in this series. And that's it. That's the end of the chapter. And the episode. You got to come back for our next Wheel of Time episode to hear if Zach has stopped coughing.
I
and
probably
to find
will
out what happens from here. Because I will tell you, when we pick up again, we find out what's next. We don't leave Perrin. There's more to come.
Which is nice.
When we, at our previous episode, talked about all these were the greatest chapters and we're going to let you down from here. And Zach said, but wait, there's Perrin and the Two Rivers. We're here, baby.
I love this arc.
This is good. Honestly, this may be where Perrin shines. Some of the best of the whole series. And we may never like Faile as much again. But, okay, I digress. So,
I'm sensing a lot of Faile hate, which a lot of community might agree with you on.
I like Faile, but the fandom is very torn over Faile. It's truth. Okay. That's the key stuff we have to share. We just have a little spoiler room bit left. Shall I run the spoiler room thingy? Are we there?
Do.
All right. Let's send this baby.
The spoiler room. I was hoping it would be loud enough to cover a cough or two.
Yeah, it wasn't. Sorry. Yeah. You've done all right, and you look good. I'm just going to say, you don't look like you're at death's door. You look good. You cleaned up well. You did get you've been off work all week, right?
I have not been able to work, yes.
Did you get paid for that?
We'll talk about that after.
Oh, serious? It's not just yes.
Well, it's just complicated enough. No need to talk about it on episode.
Oh, now I'm sad. Okay. Spoiler room. Let's roll our die. I'm going to roll the honkin' big one today. I only have two choices, so it's the big one or the pretty one. Though the big one's pretty, so that's a misnomer. But the small one sparkles, so you know.
I guess it's this one today because this is what I grabbed first.
Just a purple acrylic.
Purple and blue and swirly and.
All right, I'm backing up so I can roll. I shouldn't have backed up to roll.
So
I got a 3.
I got a 15.
Yeah. 3, 15. I think you go first. Good thing I wrote 2 things down. I might spoil.
Well, that's good.
What you got?
I think I'm not going to go super into detail too much on some of this, but I am going to talk a little bit about the fact that we saw in this chapter our kind of moment of proof that Perrin is not just a wolf brother, and this is a little contentious because I don't know if it's proven.
No, I like where you're going.
I want to say this is the only time we actually see this happen. I could be wrong. Do we see other times that we actually get this way shown?
Sometimes it's just a big cloud in the sky with a vision, but yes.
Okay, he sees this again. Not very often.
No, but he does see it again.
Perrin sees these visions. Perrin's a dreamer.
Yes, he is
a wolf brother. He is also a dreamer. And
amen. He's a dreamer.
We see this in the same way that Egwene was a dreamer. And it was like, okay, well, are there two sides of this? Is the Teleron Rayon dreamer separate from the possible prophetic dreamerness? And then we go, well, is wolf brother dreamer all that together? I don't think so. I think they are separate. But the fact that Perrin has these experiences in the wolf dream where he already is and can have visions of the future, it's all tied in and connected, and so it makes sense here, but it is a separate ability that he has. Other wolf brothers, I don't think, do.
Yeah, I'd say he was thinking Elias McCara could maybe tell him about it. No, I don't think he could.
I don't think he knows anything about it.
It's a rare talent. Yeah. There goes in here, bud.
And it's unique enough that how we've seen it described from Egwene's perspective, how we've now seen it from Perrin's, it's loosely the same ability, but I don't think they'd recognize it as the same in each other either.
Yeah, it manifests differently. You're right. Yep. Good one. I like
Do
it.
you want to, for yours, talk about any of those visions? I was curious if that was where one of your ways was going to go.
I am not. I am going to Snakes and Foxes.
Okay.
Okay, because I admit when I first read the series, I totally didn't remember this. Totally didn't connect that. Oh, it's right friggin' here.
Oh, it's literally in the name of the chapter, and I just
not ready for it. So this was perfect. It lays out exactly the okay, Snakes and Foxes, the game. The game has the rules. Break the rules. Yada yada yada. It's all laid out what's going to happen in Towers of Midnight. Right there. Fantastic. And also the fact that Brigida knows more about the Tower of Genji and the rules and how, and you can't trust
it comes
them.
up later. She's been there.
She's been there, and here she has full remembrance of it.
Yeah,
when
she's never gotten out.
Here. Later on, it's just kind of a reminiscence because she's been out for a while. Oh man, so good, so good. This is Robert Jordan foreshadowing in primo version. It was great. So when we get back to Ulver eventually, and he's got this game, Snakes and Foxes, it's like you're thinking, oh, this is like foreshadowing of things that might happen. No, it was way back here already. This is the original foreshadowing. Rich.
I mean, has this stuff been foreshadowed already? Yeah. It just keeps getting very subtly done.
Oh no, this wasn't subtle. Brigida was bludgeoning us with this information.
When you don't realize how it connects to later things, it's like, okay, cool, I get it.
And hang on, wait a second. You have to break the rules. And then he says the chant, which is, no, that's what you do to cheat. Those aren't really the rules, because the pact is the rules.
Well, like
they always ask the opposite when you come in through the doorways. Do you have any
when
iron?
You have to break the rules to cheat.
Articles
we
of
don't
music?
know a lot about the actual rules of Snakes and Foxes, the game.
But that chant is what you say. We learned that from Ulver later.
It's what you say. It has no relation to the rules of the game.
Perhaps. Anyways, love it. Just love it. All right, that's mine. You did yours. I did mine. We're good. I'm going to send the outro. How's that sound?
Sounds great. That way I can go cough more.
I got to tell you, you did a great job. You didn't cough much at all. Yeah, then he coughs. Nice.
I'm breathing shallowly.
But you need your O2 level strong. That's
like
an issue with COVID.
Let me go cough.
Well, get better, Zach. Look forward to seeing you later in the week. And for all of you who've been watching us, thanks for enduring Zach's coughing. Share how much you appreciate it that he minimized it and he's powered through COVID just for you guys. Absolutely. And until next time, I should say it like that. We'll talk to you next time.
I love it when you say it like that.